We are live and welcome to another episode of Penny Goes Live. And my voice is a bit croaky today, and that is because there's been a lot of dust in my house. I had a new cleaner today, and well, I think he found dust in areas that have never been kind of explored before. So there was a lot of flying around, and he was here for 6.5 hours. But he was amazing, and he just did such a splendid job. I'm so super thrilled with him. But it's interesting, isn't it? Because how are you? Do let me know in the chat. You know who I am, which is why you're here. I'm Penny Dix, Astro Coach. This is my passion, my therapy. You are my passion and my therapy. And I've started a minute or so early because the bells in the local village are just starting to go dong. So you might, hi Mimi Nee, oh Poonam, hi. It's just lovely to see so many familiar names here. And some of you, I know your faces, which is wonderful too. And so, hi, I Revenge. What a wonderful name. Wow. But listen, today is the autumn equinox, which really is quite a big deal. And I would like to know how you feel. Yes, Poonam, energies have been up and down and very confusing. And thank you, Susan. They are quite cool, eh? My nail colour. You know, us girlies, we have to talk about these girly things. Do you know, I only had 10 minutes to get myself ready for this tonight. So if I look a little bit kind of like done at the last minute, that's why. But how are you with these energies? Because I did some research about solar flares and solar storms. Now, some of you will probably be ahead of me in your knowledge of such things because the let's just say the jury is out on whether solar flares and storms affect our planet. But all I know is that for the last couple of weeks, and especially the last week, everyone I meet, including myself, well, I meet myself every day, is having like a kind of really extraordinary time, really difficult, really challenging, absolutely kind of like knife edge stuff. And I feel as if I've been pushed into an alternate reality and been just extraordinary and very tired. Yes, I've got my back problems, and yes, thank you for asking, because it is improving. I am taking some medication. I didn't really want to take it, but at the end of last week, well, it was, yeah, Thursday actually, it was so bad. I thought, that's it. I have to, otherwise, I don't know what I'm going to do. So I did, and it's helping. And this coming week, I see the orthopedic guy, and the following week, I see the spinal guy, and then we'll look at the results of MRIs and all of that and decide what we're going to do. But yes, Poonam, it is with the medication. And as I say, I'm not a lover of all these lotions and potions that we're given. But hey, you know, sometimes you just have no choice. And that's how I feel at the moment. And my God, it's like, yeah, give me some more because it's working. So earth-shattering emotional stuff going on. Very, very tired. Okay. You'll oh, fantastic. Thank you. You'll email me some suggestions for great nutritions. nutrients. There we go. Hi, Carol. You need a hip replacement. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I take pain meds as well, and I'm very happy to. And the last 2 nights are the first 2 nights in quite a long time that I've had kind of what I'd call quality sleep. But how does this all fit in with the autumn equinox? Well, as I mentioned a bit earlier, I did some research about solar storms and solar flares, and it seems we have been experiencing some of this energy. And from my research, and as I say, you might know more than me, it can disturb sleep, it can give us headaches, and make us, I'm going to use that special word, feel quite discombobulated. In fact, as I say, I have felt as if I've been living in some alternate universe. It's been so harsh. And it's just been incredibly challenging. So thank you, Mina, for your kind wishes, and thank you, everyone. And a lot of you have been leaving me comments on the posts I've put up, and I haven't done any videos. This is the first video I've done for quite a few days, and I will get round to reading all your comments, but I just want to say thank you, and they are truly appreciated, but it takes time. So you, Susan, you feel like you're living in another body. That is really, really interesting. Now we are at this equinox point where the seasons change symbolically, and it's come a bit later this year because the sun actually moved into Libra today, which is the 23rd of September, and usually it's round about the 21st. So it's come quite late, and it feels as if we've all been waiting for some kind of shift in the energies. So let's look at the evidence. We've got solar flares, solar storms that may or may not be affecting us. Now, I have a story to tell you, but I'm going to tell you a little bit later because I want to go through the astrology first. But I have a story about something that happened to me just a week ago. Well, it included me and 2 other people, and well, it was just bizarre. And let's talk about alternate realities, shifting timelines, but my God, it was strange. So these energies, the autumn equinox means that the sun finally moves into Libra. Now, Libra, as we know, is about balance. It's about harmony. So we need to actually embrace this energy of the Libra season and think, how can I use this in a positive and constructive way? So what I've done is I've got the chart of the moment when the equinox happened, which was at 7:50 British summer time. So adjust for your time zone. I can't do that. It's far too complicated, but that's what I've set it up for because it's kind of universal time. So this event chart shows obviously the sun in Libra. Now the moon in this event chart, the dust has been terrible. The moon is in Capricorn. It's always important to look at the moon aspect and see with these events what aspects it's making to other cosmic bodies. So the moon is trining Mercury. Mercury, our planet of communication that is in Libra. Sorry, it's in Virgo. It moves into Libra in the first part of October. I've been writing up October today, so my brain is still in sync with the October information. And I will be doing a live for all the October energy on the 1st of October, which I believe is tomorrow week already. My God. So the moon in Capricorn is trining Mercury in Virgo. This is about it's a great time to discuss things with people that mean a lot to you, where things might have been a little bit sticky, have got out of sync, have got difficult, where it feels that you're misunderstanding each other. Then use this energy of the moon in Capricorn making a trine to communication planet Mercury in Virgo to look at perhaps details in your conversations that you've perhaps overlooked. You know, sometimes we skim over the surface of the information we share with each other. And sometimes it's important to go back and look at the details of what we're trying to express. It's about letting go, because it is a time for balance and reflection. If we let go, or when we let go, when we LG, let go, let God, it allows space for new growth. Now, for me, if I tell you how I've been feeling with this discombobulated alternate reality universe energy of the last 10 days, almost since the new moon in Virgo, because we've got a full moon at the end of next week on the 29th in Aries. And of course, I will have a video up about that with all your zodiac signs timestamped in the description box by the lovely, technically minded Jerry. And I will do a live about it, but I'll do the live probably the day before, because I think that way we have the build up. We can really sense how we're all feeling. So with this energy and this sense of needing to give still a little bit of attention to the details, I've been feeling like I'm a kite that the person holding it has let go of. And so I'm being tossed around in the air currents, not really knowing where I'm going to land. And this has been particularly difficult this week. And it's felt like, you know, when you perhaps say to friends, oh, I just want everything to get back to normal. Whatever your personal normal is, it's like, yes, we want everything to get back to normal. What's this mean? You're a Scorpio, your husband's Libra, and it's terrible, really sticky. This is a good time to try and address whatever is sticky between you. Breathe, be calm, be kind, send love out. You know, we can change the energy between us and another just by thinking and feeling of that love energy, and really, really kind of intending it to the other. So whilst I was on this kind of set free kite being tossed around in the turbulent sky, I began to feel that I was losing a grip on the tentative kind of in control that one has on one's life. You know how we do like to be in control, or at least feel we are. Maybe a better way is to just be in charge of the things we can be in charge of. to change that word of control to being in charge. You're asking about Aquarius. Well, Aquarius, the equinox, and I am going to tell you which house the equinox falls in for all of you. But for you, Aquarius, it falls in your 9th house. So it's really about learning, understanding things that are more kind of deeper, more intense. It's about also something that Aquarius is good at, which is seeing the bigger picture. It's about finding that balance and harmony. And I'll say a bit more when I go through the individual signs. But Janice, hi. Yeah, get back to normal, trying to just go day by day. It has felt a little bit like that. But my feeling is, looking at the astrological energies, is that this is in the process of shifting, and that we are going to notice things settling down. Remember, we've got all this retrograde energy, and we've still got both Mercury and Venus that were retrograde in what's known as their shadow zone. So we're not in kind of new planetary territory yet. But there is good news coming, because on October the 11th, Pluto, that is currently retrograde in Capricorn, goes direct. That's good news. I'll do a separate live stream about that, and I will talk about it more when I do the October astrology. So what else can I tell you about the energy today? Because the energy of today sets the tone for what we can expect to unfold between now and the winter solstice. So we've got Venus in Leo. Venus, remember, the planet of love, relationship, self-worth, value. Venus is trining, which is a helpful aspect, Chiron. And Chiron is retrograde in Aries. And this is super helpful, because this is about the potential for healing for relationships. If there are chasms and differences between you and another, use an intention around this autumn equinox energy to intend that you can heal the wound that may be a little bit raw and open at the moment, if it's between you and another. Sometimes it's about the relationship we have with ourselves. Always remember about what you project out and what you say to others. And don't forget that 3 of those fingers point back towards you. We have to be so super careful when we go into berating, attacking, criticizing. I've had a bit of that this week being directed at me. It's not relevant to what we're talking about, but I just kind of let it come, know that it's not about me, and let it go. And send love to the person that is projecting the sort of rather negative stuff at me. That is the best way to handle it. Because, you know, when people get into this state where they can start criticizing another, they're usually in a pretty bad place themselves. So one has to actually have compassion, empathy, and show kindness. Think about that in your personal relationships. If there have been any difficulties in personal relationships, then think about where you might be getting into the you, rather than the I experience or I feel that when I, sense that if, so that you, or I'm curious about the way I felt you dealt with that situation. So, what's this? Somebody is asking me, Mahdi Abazi, is there something special about willpower and strengthening it? Well, my instinctive answer is no, because willpower is not um, is not the right energy in the sense of staying in harmony with the energies of intention. Willpower is too rigid. I hope you see what I mean. The word will and power is too controlling. I know you might not have necessarily meant it that way, but it's really, we have to intend. Remember that when we intend, then we give flexibility to the universe. We allow the universe to attend to the minutiae of what we would like to manifest in our lives. Because willpower implies we get in our own way. And it implies that we're so determined on a single goal that we're not allowing for the flexibility and serendipity of the universe. We're going in that direction, and the universe is over here saying, but hey, actually, what I've got over here is much better for you. But if that's what you want, okay, but it's a long way round to get to where you really need to be. So I hope that helps with that word willpower. But let's look at the rest of the energy, because also both Jupiter and Uranus in Taurus. Jupiter, remember, being the planet of expansion, opportunity, can also represent good luck. Uranus being the planet of rebellion, freedom, free speech, the planet of the unexpected, of literally earthquakes when it's in the sign of Taurus, which is an earth sign. Both these massive planets are retrograde currently. They are squaring Venus in Leo, and this square continues for quite a while. This is challenging for us because we are going to find that we are kind of feeling this tension of wanting things to be a certain way, wanting to break free from restrictions, and Jupiter expanding that wish, that need to be free. And because they're squaring Venus, they're saying, do not make changes in your personal life at the expense of another or at the expense of your own self-worth. I hope that kind of makes sense. Yes, Penny, it is about trying to send love and balanced energy to people. It's been a lucky time for you for job interviews. You're Leo. Well, that is superb because, of course, you've got this energy, my love, in your 10th house of career and what you're passionate about. And with Uranus and Jupiter, both in Taurus in that part of your chart, and this goes for all Leos, Leo rising, Leo sun, Leo moon, if you follow your moon sign as well, then this energy is challenging, but you can achieve something the other side of it. But you have to look at what the cost is. You know, there's no such thing as a free lunch. And I always remember I was in personal therapy as a patient because I was training as a therapist. And so I was in personal therapy for years and years and years because that was all part of the training. But I also wanted to be in therapy because it helped me so much to make sense of my own life. And it helped me to learn how to be a good therapist. But one of the things, one of my longer term, lovely therapists used to say to me was, everything comes at a price. And that we have to be very careful of our choices, that there is, you know, as I said a bit earlier, no free lunch. Everything comes at a price. Are you prepared to pay the price to achieve whatever it is you want to achieve? So we have to be mindful of these energies, especially with this square from Venus to Uranus and Jupiter. Because Uranus and Jupiter are making us very expansive, making us overexcited about what we could achieve in our life. And there's nothing wrong with having these great ambitions and high ideals and the, you know, Maddie, the willpower to make these things happen. But we have to stay in that flow of the energy, sense which way the river is taking us. You know what I wonder? I wonder whether gamers, people that play these online kind of games where they have to be super smart and super alert to how and what they're going to get to first, I wonder whether they actually have some kind of super advantage because they're used to seeing the next opportunity, to judging when the direction changes. So it's just a thought. So let's just have a look at what other energy we've got, because we've also got Pluto, my wonderful planet of transformation, of being empowered. Pluto is the planet of personal empowerment. It's a dwarf planet, but my God, does it have punch. Pluto trining the sun in Libra. So it's trining this equinox point. This is super good. This is really excellent energy. This bodes well for the energies between now taking us up to the winter solstice on the 21st of December. Also, we have to remember that Pluto is currently in what's known as a T-square, an ongoing T-square with the nodes, the North Node in Aries and the South Node in Libra. So this sort of T-square, this kind of look on the chart, and I wish I was technical enough to get a chart up when I'm doing a live, but we will get there. It's one of my intentions. So what I'm saying about this T-square is, if you think of the symbolism of the nodes, because the North Node in Aries is about where we're heading to. It's about our destiny. It's about what we would like to initiate in our lives, what we'd like to bring into our lives. It's in Aries. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. It's about new beginnings. It's about the excitement of starting afresh. So it's really good energy. And in the event chart, it's in the 7th house of relationships. So this is really super cool energy for relationships. This nodal axis in Aries. But it is a square because it's a T-square from Pluto. So it means that if it's something to do with relating, it's not necessarily going to just come and fall on your lap. It's because it's a challenge, and that to get something really worth having, sometimes we have to go that extra mile. But what about the South Node in Libra? Because the South Node is what we're bringing in with us. It's our life experience, but it's also our karmic kind of blueprint. It's what we bring in from past lives. It's in the 1st house of the event chart. So it's very much about your identity. So be in touch with what you bring with you through your identity in balance, because it's Libra, over the next kind of 2 to 3 months, coming up to the winter solstice. The other thing I want to mention about this energy is that Venus that's squaring Uranus and Jupiter is actually conjunct the asteroid Juno. Now, Juno is the asteroid that symbolizes union, marriage, and relationship, along with Venus representing love and relationship. So it kind of suggests that this challenging square to Jupiter and Uranus is about, almost you could say, are there risks that you need to take in certain relationships? Because sometimes we're worried about upsetting the status quo. And really this energy is saying, you know, with Uranus and Jupiter, Uranus, the unexpected shocks, Jupiter, luck, opportunity. Why not take a risk? Because if we don't take a risk, we never know. If it doesn't work out, it wasn't meant to work out. Oh, that's a very complicated question you've just asked me, Mardi. And what Mardi has asked is there a correlation between an individual's astrological sign and their capacity for willpower and self-discipline? Or is willpower a trait that transcends astrological influences? In brief, because I can't answer that fully on this particular video, but in brief, the sign of willpower, determination, and well, that kind of energy is Capricorn, because it's about discipline. And Saturn, a wonderful planet of restriction, boundaries, and timing, rules Capricorn. So it would be that. But why don't I just quickly go through each of your signs and just tell you roughly the area of your life you can expect this energy to be most evident. So it's kind of giving you a very short heads up. I'm going to keep it brief. There'll be no need to timestamp them. It'll be too fast. So I'm just going to virtually say what the sign is, where it is in your chart, and about 1 or 2 words to describe what it's about. But for you, Aries, it's in your 7th house, and that's significant relationships and very close friendships. It can also be enemies, but it can also be business partnerships. So that's what is kicking off for you with this autumn equinox. Taurus, it's in your 6th house. Your 6th house of day-to-day routine, and that can also be your health, and it can also be pets and small animals. It's also about service to others. But and as a Taurus myself, I think this is about us Taurians giving a little bit of attention with this equinox to our health, and to take it a little bit slower, to take it easy and get more of that Libran balance into our lives. So what about Gemini? Because for you, Gemini, it's in your 5th house. And the 5th house is, I always call it the house of fun, but it's the house of creativity. It's the house of children. And it's the house of anything that really is to do with the arts. So it means that your creative juices can really flow well at the moment, Gemini, with this energy. Now, Leo, it's in your 3rd house of communication, writing, letters, documents. So are you writing your memoirs, Leo? Or are you actually just communicating with more balance, harmony, and better kind of thought? Virgo, for you, it's in your 2nd house of finance. So for you, Virgo, it is about also how you make your money, that you may want to give some more thought to what you do, how you work with the things that you're passionate about, and also give some attention to your self-worth with this autumn equinox energy. If you've been feeling a little bit kind of, I don't know, underdog and downtrodden, please be kind to yourself, Virgo. So let's move on to Did I do Cancer? Did I do Cancer? 4th house? I think I forgot. Yes. M&S, I forgot Cancer. I'm doing Cancer. Okay. Cancer, it's in your 4th house of home and family. And for you, this is about giving more attention to your home and family, and really kind of making the house kind of cozy for the next season. So that would be a really good use of this energy. And perhaps being a little bit kind of out of the box creative with your culinary skills. So I'll just go through Leo again in case anyone missed it. 3rd house, communication. Communicate more in a balanced way, Leo. So do it in much more kind of think before you speak, Leo, and then you will do well. And I think Virgo, I did you 2nd house about self-worth. So really think about how you value you. Don't let others put you down, Virgo. Now let's move on to the next ones. Libra. Well, of course, it's in your 1st house. And for you, Libra, I mean, obviously, it's always here at this time of year. And for all of you, actually, it's always in this part of your chart. So it might be quite interesting to check and how your, how everything kind of works in your life through the year, to see whether the seasonal change brings you to focus on the elements and areas of your life that the astrology indicates. So Libra, it's time for you. It's like time for yourself. It's time for you to put yourself first, because you're very good, Libra, at putting others first, mediating for others, sorting out others' battles. Start attending to your own stuff and problems and difficulties. Put those first. Scorpio, 12th house. Scorpio, some inner work needs to be done. You need to kind of like just spend a little bit of time in meditation with yourself. Think about the bigger picture, Scorpio. That's what I would say with this particular energy. And then we move on to Sagittarius, which is the 11th house of hopes and wishes. But it's also seeing the bigger picture of everything. And Sagittarius, you're ruled by Jupiter. So this is easy for you to do. And I think Sagittarians have had a little bit of a difficult time. And don't worry, as the seasons change, it's going to settle down for you. You've been going through enormous changes, Sagittarius. So then we move on to Capricorn, ruled by Saturn. Capricorn, 10th house, career, passion, direction in life. I think you might be looking for new work or changing your whole attitude to what you are doing with your work. And some things might happen in unexpected ways that transform what unfolds on that career kind of path. Then we move on to Aquarius. And for you, it's your 9th house of higher education, of learning new things, and of also 9th house is, of course, travel. Mahadi, you are asking me some of the most complex, difficult questions. I will try and answer that, but I'll answer it in another way. If you're on live chat, you can read for yourself what Mahadi has asked about artificial intelligence interpreting the events of the universe. God help us. Aquarius, 9th house, you need to get away. You need to have a little bit of a change of vision of how your life is progressing. You just need to see a different perspective on what's going on. Finally, and I always have to do this, for Pisces, my oceans of emotions. How are you, Pisces? Have you been discombobulated, thrown about in the rough seas of life? It's in your 8th house. Well, this is beginnings, endings, sex, birth, death. What can I say? You'll have to think about how that applies to your life over the next 3 months or so. But as I come to each individual month, like October, November, and then December, we will get a clearer picture of how these energies are working out. So let's just have a look at some of the live chat and see if there's anything. But yes, I'll answer your question as I can, Mahadi. But Mahadi has asked, let me answer Mahadi's question and then I'll tell you about whiskey and bagels. Mahadi has asked if it's possible to use artificial intelligence to interpret the events of the universe. It most probably is, but I think that would be a terrible, terrible waste of the human intuitive capabilities. The brain, the mind, the psyche, the soul has far more complex ways of working than any computer can ever have. And you cannot replace intuition, psychic abilities, and a story I'm going to tell you about in a minute about biolocation. You cannot use artificial intelligence to change that. With human feedback, okay, well, you're developing a potential video for the future that we can do. But I want to answer the question I've been asked about whiskey and bagels. Well, we have been having a little break, a summer break, and it's not necessarily over, but we've both, Brandon and I, have had things that we need to do. I personally was getting exhausted, and I'm sure you can appreciate that with the volume of material and content I was putting out, it was just like, I need a break. I need a rest. I'm going to just, collapse if I don't slow down. So Saturn, you see, is in my 8th house retrograde in Pisces. And it's really asking me to slow down because it's conjunct my moon. So I'm really having to be mindful of that. That's why I'm having problems with my back, which is the skeleton, the structure, the spine. So whiskey and bagels. Brandon and I will discuss it at some point when we will bring it back, but we will probably do it less frequently as we've been doing, because I personally couldn't keep up the pace. Brandon's a lot younger than me. He's young, he's healthy, he's ambitious, he's wonderful. I love him to bits, as you know. But, sometimes you just need to stand back and allow things to settle. So, well, Annabella, I will send via this video your love to Brandon. Hopefully Brandon will tune into this at some point. And Brandon, I do hope we can do whiskey and bagels again. I haven't gone, I'm just resting. And so let's get in touch soon, Brandon, and discuss how we would like the future to go. Janice, good positives, more writing. Absolutely. Go for it. Now, let me tell you my story, because this is extraordinary. And it's about potential, possible, a biolocation experience that happened to a friend of mine that I was on the receiving end of. So the reason I'm telling it is because I feel it kind of fits in with the Pluto moving into Aquarius energy, which is about anything that is a little bit kind of way out and kind of new agey, esoteric, kind of strange. But it's also about these higher energies, frequencies, and the abilities that I think the human psyche, soul, mind combined together is actually able to do. So let me tell you what happened, and then you can judge for yourselves. All I know is there were 2 of us that witnessed it. And the third person that appeared to be doing the biolocating, she's aware that I'm telling this story because I asked her permission, because she was a Reiki student of mine. And I'm her Reiki master. I attuned her through all the levels of Reiki. And she's very good at doing Reiki with animals. And she's a highly intuitive, highly experienced, sensitive. And all I can say is she has the potential of 1,000 radio stations going on in her mind to be able to connect with these higher kind of frequencies. And I think her journey in this is just beginning. I just want to answer this, Joyce. Is your health issue due to ascension? I think that's a very good point, and I think it's about healing crisis. I think that's very much what it's about, and about a transition, because I also have Pluto in Capricorn coming up to be conjunct my natal Chiron in the 6th house. So let me come back to the story, because otherwise I'll never finish it. What happened was, me and 2 friends and my Reiki friend, and actually the other friend I had here was also a Reiki friend. She was my Reiki master. So we've got the generations of Reiki teachers all meeting up, and we were going to an afternoon kind of event here in Gozo. And me and the friend were sitting here in my home waiting for this other friend, the one that I think is super psychic, super extraordinary with her psychic abilities. And we were waiting for her to arrive. And also, she was bringing me a cat carrier, because I hadn't got one that was suitable to take one of my cats to the vet, who needs a little bit of dental work. And so my friend was going to bring it round for me to borrow, and she was going to help me get said cat, called Felixina, who I hope will take the place of Astropus. And she's getting a little bit stinky minky breath control at the moment through the gingivitis. So she's got to go to the vet. And me and the friend are going to try and get her to the vet. But that's another story. Here I go, diversing again, or going off at a tangent. So me and my other friend are sitting here waiting and chatting, and we hear my front door of my apartment open. We hear someone walk in and a voice say, "Hi." And I hear the clattering of what I presumed was the cat carrier. And I jumped up. Well, I didn't jump up because I can't at the moment with my back. I got up slowly out of my seat and said to my other friend, "That must be so-and-so arriving." And so I'll go and I don't know how she got in, because she hasn't got a key. How strange. And so I walked down the corridor going, "Hello, hello, where are you?" And I walked down to the end of my apartment, and I looked and I thought, "That's strange. I can't see her anywhere." And then I came back and I looked in the living area and I said, "Where is she?" And my other friend said, "Well, I don't know. I said, "I'm not imagining it, am I? It's not the meds I'm on. We did hear her come in, didn't we?" And my friend said, yeah, I heard what sounded like the door opening and like a voice. I mean, I thought about, is it my neighbor opposite? But what about the cat carrier clanking and being brought into my hallway? And actually, if it was the neighbor opposite, it would have sounded more hollow and distant. So what I think happened, so when the friend arrived, she arrived about 5 minutes later, and she looked at me and she said, "You okay?" And I said, "Well, no, not really, because you were already here 5 minutes ago." And she said, "Really? What do you mean?" And so we recounted the story to her, and she went, "Oh, does that mean I biolocated here before I got here for some reason?" And exactly, Andy, her energy came first. I mean, that is spot on. And in terms of biolocation, I think that's actually the probably, I don't know, esoteric scientific stuff or scientific way one would describe it. But it was the most extraordinary experience. It didn't stop there, because the next evening I was alone in my apartment and I heard the door open and shut. So I was actually in bed at the time. So I climbed out of bed, walked down the corridor going, hello, hello, doors shut, no one there, no one anywhere to be seen. And then whatever it is stopped. But I think, and she thinks it was her coming back just to check on me because she knew I wasn't feeling well with my back, with my sciatica. I like that. The meds, yeah, exactly. Woo woo! Don't they do wonderful things? But there were 3 of us in this event, in this, just kind of like experience. And since then, the energy has been extraordinary. And my friend and I have kind of gone over it and talked about it. And I haven't mentioned to her yet, but I think that maybe the US government would be interested in employing her for remote viewing, because clearly she would be absolutely brilliant at that. So, now that's interesting, Annabelle. Things occurring at the moment. You feel like time portals are opening, absolutely spot on. That is how I felt all week, because it feels like everything has shifted timelines. If any of you are feeling like that, please let me know in the comments section. If the live chat has switched off by the time you see this, let me know in the comments section. I would love to know your experiences, because we can look at it and talk about it. Yes, Manuela, maybe timelines are shifting heavily. Is anyone else there having this kind of experience? And I'm only going to talk for another 5 minutes because I've been talking for nearly an hour. And I will go hoarse completely. So, Penny, you've had experiences like this. Okay. So, remote viewing, other dimensions. Sometimes I find with this kind of feeling that one slips timelines, I've only noticed it in the last couple of years, since just after the pandemic started. Gaia is upgrading quite fast wherever you are. Look at the light, it's very crystalline. Oh my God, you're spot on, Annabelle, because I tell you why. The island I live on, Gozo, is made of crystal. There is so much crystal in the rock here and the stone that you feel the energy here, and the energy is quite exhausting at times. And there's another story that I can tell you another time, told to me by a very dear friend who has sadly passed into another timeline that we won't even see, because he's passed on to another level of reality. But he's was a lovely man called Francis Xavier and Aloysios. And he has written books about the fact that Atlantis was centered around Malta and Gozo, that the kind of tip of Atlantis was where we find Malta and Gozo. I know I've drifted off totally from astrology, but I just had to bring you this story. Let me see. You've been to Gozo, very beautiful. Must tell you, Penny, several months ago, I was in a dream you had, and I took you on a mystical tour of ancient Gozo. It was beautiful, and I haven't forgotten the feeling. Maybe we are connected in past lives. Maybe we are part of the same soul group. But, I just want to, before I finish, bring things back to the astrology, because the autumn equinox is bringing up all this energy and stories and this dialogue that we are having today. So try and stay with this frequency so that you rise above astrologically what we are feeling, that we integrate it into our lives, that we don't fight the kind of frequency changes that are happening to us. Because I think there is so much going on cosmologically that we can't even begin to process yet. Uranus in Taurus is waking up Gaia, as someone mentioned earlier. This is why we've had one or two devastating earthquakes whilst Uranus has been in Taurus. And we are going through this process. And the other thing to mention is, of course, about Pluto, that at the end of next year, 2024, will fully move into Aquarius. Aquarius is about the bigger picture, the vision of the future that we have, the age of Aquarius, the dawning of Aquarius. Aquarius is about these higher frequencies, these higher energies. And so what I want to say is, remember, Uranus rules Aquarius. Pluto moving into Aquarius is about transformation. And we will see AI becoming prominent, but we don't want it to become dominant. Prominent, not dominant. What we do want to encourage and invite to be dominant is the ability of our frequency in our soul, spirit, and psyche to connect with each other, to radiate this good feeling of love and energy out into the cosmos, and to trust that the divine knows better than us and that she has our backs. And on that note, 1930 Central European time, I'm going to bring this to a close. Thank you so much for joining me. Please remember to like, comment, share, subscribe, all those wonderful things that you do. Thank you to all the new subscribers. And I will be back very soon with the next video out will be the full moon in Aries. And then I'll be doing a live towards the end of next week. So see you later. Bye for now.